Sage Forsaken here. And today I finally have the full and complete Build-A-Figure Apocalypse. Hasbro really went on a limb here and, it's kind of junk. They made us buy 7 figures to get this one figure. They usually have only about 5 or 6 figures to parts you have to buy. But what they did is they threw like the little bitty pipes or whatever cables he has, and they threw those in with Wolverine. So I guess it's kind of nice they threw it in Wolverine, because if you really didn't care about getting those, you could say, well, I don't have to buy another Wolverine. I've got 3 of them or whatever. But I did buy all the figures in this set. In fact, I have 2 of the multiple man, though I bought him without the Build-A-Figure part at the flea market, so I could have an extra multiple man. I bought them because these are comic versions. I wanted the Apocalypse. I really have always wanted a good Apocalypse figure. I have the head and chest that came with X-23, which is massive. But I don't have any of the other figures from that older Apocalypse, where he's a little bit bigger. Maybe one day I'll track all those down. I doubt it. Of course, Storm is awesome looking in this series. You got Sabretooth to fight your Wolverines. You finally got a good Sabretooth. Don't care about Multiple Man that much, but if I was going to get him, I was going to get 2 or 3. I probably won't even keep some of these other figures like, the Gladiator. And I don't know, like this Magneto comes with some good parts, but it's not my version of Magneto that I prefer. Of course, Psylocke is looking cool. She's got her sword and she's got her psi effect. So Psylocke is, they've done a lot better job with the female figures than they used to do. So it took me months to get all these. Of course, I had to finally got the last piece, the Magneto piece, today or yesterday at the flea market. My guy had found it at another store. I was able to get it without having to order it online, saving myself some shipping and stuff like that. Overall, though, I did pay, the regular price for most of these. I got 2 of these for Christmas, so they were gifts. But the rest I got, had to pay out of pocket for. So it's been kind of a journey paying for and getting the Apocalypse. He's huge. So kind of show you an example. Here is where I was making, and I'm trying to make a custom Magneto. Well, I don't know how that's going to turn out. But this is the regular, like, Bucky Cap style body. And he towers above that guy. And, of course, with a smaller figure, like one of the females or something like that, he's really huge looking. My biggest concern is they didn't give him any extra parts, whether that's hand parts or whether that's open hands or anything. So you have an Apocalypse here who can't grab on and throw Wolverine. All he can do is punch him. You have an Apocalypse who doesn't have the cool, like, he basically, if you saw the last Iron Man movie where his nanobots would shape into different stuff like a shield or a big blaster bigger than normal, Apocalypse has always been able to do that. Like, ever since back in the day, like when the early X-Men, when they first really announced, when he first was introduced, he can shape change, get big and small, like he can get bigger. So that's one reason I'd like to eventually. It'd be cool to have that bigger one, because you can see him get even bigger to fight the heroes or whatever. And it kind of like, it's cool to have this figure. His articulation, they did do a good job of actually making this shoulder point pivots up, so he can raise his arm at least. It pivots up this much so his arm can come up, but it can't go, of course, 180 with those shoulder pads. This is a separate piece that is pegged in there pretty good. The head, of course, can swivel. He has a swivel at the waist. He has all the regular articulation you would expect, though his arms are only single jointed. For a big guy with these big gauntlets on here, he can barely, like, that's probably as much as he can bend his arm, really. He can barely bend his arm any more than that. Like maybe a little bit more. So He's not exactly the best articulated guy. Kind of reminding me of, like, they use the same exact base they used to make that Thanos that I put a video out for. Though he might be a little taller than the Thanos figure. I'll have to look and pull him out sometime. Anyway, thank you for liking and subscribing my videos. Now that I've got this, there's about 4 figures I want to get in the next X-Men line, but I don't have to have the Build-A-Figure. So I'm not going to do what I did this time and try to track them all down new in box. I'll probably be tracking them down used or when someone else has got the Build-A-Figure part and wants to build Caliban. So I'll be able to avoid having to buy all the figures. This is the only line I've ever bought all the figures of, except for I did buy the Onslaught and have all the figures for that. I am 1 figure away from having Ant-Man, the giant Ant-Man, from the movies. I just need to get the Black Panther figure with the Black Panther piece. It's going for really high right now, so I don't know if I'll be able to get that anytime soon. But even if I can just find the piece separate, I might buy that just so I can have that figure complete. But you know, these things are expensive. This is a collector's line. You know, a lot of the videos I make are about cheaper toys. I really love the articulation in Marvel Legends. And I love that they're such good figures. My only concern is that they're not quite as collectors as some of the other collector lines where they don't, but they're doing a really good job right now. I just wish I mean, I'm sorry, it's Apocalypse. He should have had a different hand, a drill hand, a blaster hand, a shield or something. It would even be cool if they put out like a smaller Apocalypse that's slightly smaller, and then like he grew up to this big or something. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for liking, subscribing, and putting up with my rambling. Have a great day. Sage Forsaken signing off.